I'm just taking time to make the proper use of my influence. Couple 100,000 cash, a few haters, lawyer fees for new cases, and a box of blunts later I give you.
Ayazan Idilova was a fashion design student working for a local tailor shop in Almaty, Kazakhstan. But after being contacted by a stranger on social media, Ayazan went missing and was never seen alive again.
Man, be careful. That internet, bro. That internet, social media is like, it can be a good thing and it can be a very, very, very bad thing, bro. A lot of the times people on there, they start talking to people that they don't know. They start to trust that person, and then by the time you look up, you'd have been talking to somebody that you never knew, never seen, never heard for 6, 7, 8 months, and you emotionally attached or invested. Now, I hope it don't go that way though, cause that's messed up. Cause at the end of the day, bro, like nobody really want to be lonely. Like ain't nobody trying to be lonely. Nobody is meant to live this life all alone and go through everything by themselves. So I get it. If you want to have like some company or somebody to talk to, that's understandable. But at the end of the day, like not to the point where you jeopardizing your life and like neglecting your safety. Like don't be that pressed for company.
This CCTV video footage shows her last known living activity. As you can see, the 19-year-old unsuspecting student is ushered willingly into the elevator by a man. Ayazan didn't appear to be resisting or under any suspicion of threat at the time. But shortly after that video ended, a horror of unbelievable proportions occurred. So the big question is, who's on first?
Who is on first? What are you asking me for? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not...
The man in the video is Rakhmanberdi Torebekov, a 28-year-old pharmacist from Almaty, Kazakhstan. Reports claim he's a well-medically educated individual from a good family, someone you wouldn't expect to be involved in the disappearance of a teenage woman.
But at the end of the day, he got access to pharmaceuticals. When you got access to pharmaceuticals and you can drug people and alter their mind and all, like you gotta be a solid person to be dealing with that stuff, bro. Cause it's like that's a lot of power. It's a lot of power to have. You got the power to really change somebody, take somebody's life. You gotta be careful with that, man. You gotta be careful with that. And everybody is not built for that responsibility. Just because you went to medical school and you cliff note and got your way through whatever, yeah, that's cool. But if you're not really in it to help people out, here we go.
Well, spoiler alert, he was. And what you're about to learn is devastating. Prepare yourself. The following details will stick to you in an unwanted and uncomfortable way. I'm Mr. Black, and this is The Disturbing Truth, Quick Case, Episode 1, Leading the Lamb. Ayazan Idilova was gearing up to spend the evening with her boyfriend. But first, she needed to go meet a man who had been in contact with her online in regards to being measured for a suit. There's no hiding the obvious. That man was Rakhmanberdi Torebekov, and the 19-year-old student went to meet. When Ayazan didn't come home, her worried boyfriend reported her missing and then clued police onto the messages exchanged between his girlfriend and the pharmacist. 2 days after the CCTV footage recorded Ayazan and Rakhmanberdi getting into the elevator, cops arrived at the apartment block looking to question the 28-year-old man about the missing woman. But no matter how much they knocked, Rakhmanberdi refused to open the door, so police had no choice but to break it down and enter the apartment by force. But what they found inside was a full nightmare in mid-flight. As authorities burst through the door, Rakhmanberdi cut his own throat. First aid was quickly administered on the scene, and the medically trained pharmacist was rushed to the hospital for life-saving treatment.
He made it?
The exact circumstances surrounding the death of Ayazan Idilova are bleak. Apparently the court heard the details in secret. But here's what we do know. When the cops finally interrogated him, Rahman Birdi admitted to everything. He made advances towards Ayazan in his apartment. She declined and rejected him, but he wanted sex, and he took it anyway. Then he murdered the poor innocent student in cold blood. Her exact cause of death, to my knowledge, wasn't released, but what the coward of a man did next was unthinkable.
So, man, this is crazy. She went to go see him. She met him online, went to go see him, I guess to get some prescriptions or whatever. And he tried to press up on her. She wasn't with it. Then he killed her? Something not right. Something not right. I don't know
Cut
what
out
it is,
all of
but something
Ayazan's
not
fingernails and ripped out every one of her teeth. When the cops photographed the evidence, every single fingernail and each of the torn out teeth had been placed in its own individual plastic bags. Rahman Birdi was trying to cover his tracks, and in the process of doing so, he also cut off the student's head and boiled it in a pot. It was reportedly still simmering on the stove when the police entered his residence.
What?
Rahman Birdi also dismembered the young woman and spread her remains all across the city in different trash cans. The victim's family were devastated, obviously, and they labeled the pharmacist as an evil maniac.
Is she blinking? She's
Rahman
blinking. Hold up. I'm not tripping. Hold up. Look at this picture. Look at this picture that's right here on the screen. Tell me she's not blinking. I know I'm not tripping.
The city in different trash cans. The victim's
saw the
family
eye?
were devastated, obviously, and they labeled the
She's
pharmacist as an
blinking.
evil maniac. Rahman Birdi was found
That's
guilty by
crazy.
way of confession and sentenced to 25
crazy.
years in prison, as well as being ordered to pay the family of his victim around $46,000.
That's another thing I wonder, like, with, like, cases where people get murdered. Like, bro, like, the family, what they lost, I'm like, man, I wonder if sometimes they gotta pay the family. You get what I'm saying? Not just for, like, emotional stuff, like emotional support, but, like, if you take somebody's mother, you take somebody's husband, you take somebody's wife, they can't pay their half of the rent. So now it's up to you to pay the whole thing. And it's like, cool, whatever. Maybe they had insurance, maybe they didn't. But at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like you should be not obligated, but it's just some type of something towards the family, bro. You took out a whole human being. Then he not right, though. Talking about cut out body and put her head inside of the boiling pot. Like, man, he don't need to come back out.
It apparently took him 24 hours to do what he did to Ayazan. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find a single picture of the cowardly monster. His face is even blurred in the CCTV footage. Now, I know that sometimes this is done because they don't want to bring attention to the bad people in this world. But does that actually make any sense? Shouldn't we know where found evil is at all times? Especially if you're gonna let it out someday. They should have shown his face. The victim's photos appear in several articles that discuss this case, but not her killers. It feels like he's protected. As a matter of fact, the whole trial seems hidden. After all, the court heard the details of the case in secret, and most of the info we have comes from the brother of the victim. It's sad. The cold-blooded murdering son of a bitch will be out of prison in his early 50s, and no one will have anything to recognize him by. Do we really think that when someone commits a crime like this, they can ever be truly rehabilitated? How can they ever be trusted? And who decides that they're trustworthy? I think it's insane. Don't the people around the bastard in the future deserve to know who he is and what he's done? The answer is yes. Stop hiding these monsters in the dark in a closet and pretending like they don't exist. They had their evil little fun and then they do a bit of time and they get out so they can do it again. Let him be known to all. It's the self-defense of the future. Because one day he'll get freedom and we won't even have knowledge. And my guess is he'll get out on good behavior and then receive a new identity to start his new life. Yeah.
They better not.
Court-ordered forgiveness. That's very Jesus of them. And call me cruel. But this evil pot of piss shouldn't be protected. There's no redemption story here. This was premeditated from the start. The moment he contacted her on social media, he knew what his intentions were. I dare say they never changed.
He's wrong. He's wrong. I will admit that. He's definitely wrong. He's wrong to the fullest extent, but I gotta keep it 100. I keep it a buck. She's wrong too. She's wrong in a sense too. She had a whole boyfriend and all of this other stuff, and I get it. It's a free country. It's a free world. You do what you want to do, whatever. But if you want to talk about being morally right and all of that other good stuff, he was wrong with his morals, but she was wrong too. She had no business meeting up with him. And if she probably would have had her boyfriend with her, if she told him about him or whatever, he probably could have went with her. She was sneaking around, and I ain't saying that she was being, promiscuous or nothing like that. I ain't saying that, but at the end of the day, she's an adult. She put herself in that situation. He was totally wrong. He's wrong, but you got to look at both sides of it. I'm just being real.
Let's go back and watch the CCTV footage again. Notice the way he ushers her into the elevator. He puts his grubby hands on her, moving her quickly out of the hall to avoid suspicion. He didn't want anyone to see her there. So don't give me the insanity bullshit. He knew what he wanted, and he knew what he was doing. He didn't want anyone to interrupt his sick plans. He didn't want to get caught because he knew damn well what he was doing was evil. But what he wanted mattered more than her life. So he used his and hers both up at the same time with one stone. So let's not give him another one. Idiots. The bottom line is, this man lured that poor student into his home of horrors like he was leading a lamb to slaughter. Rahman Beardy, I hope you die in prison. Cold, alone, and in pain. You deserve absolute hell for what you did, and I'm positive it will find you. Rest in peace, Ayazan Idilova. My thoughts are with her family and friends.
She didn't deserve. I just want to let y'all know. I'm not saying that because I know how y'all get. But no, because she was there and I for her. But no, because when she. No, I'm not saying that she deserved it. Nobody deserves it. But what I am saying is that she played her role in it too. That's it.
I'm Mr. Black, and this is the disturbing truth.
That was cool.
Quick case.
Yeah. I agree with bro. I agree with what he was saying. What's his name? Whatever his name is, he need to burn and you know where and all that. I agree. Bro, I don't get the point behind that. Like, I don't understand the point behind taking somebody's life. I don't get that. I don't get it. Like, I understand we are humans and we get mad and life don't go our way all the time, but I never understood the whole, like, taking somebody's life thing, bro. That's just beyond me. That's beyond me. But, I like this little documentary joint. That was cool. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. GTG, the family, as always, is love. I'm out.